I won. I became the richest man in the world. I built the largest steel company in history. I controlled more wealth than most nations. I dominated my industry completely. I crushed every competitor. I achieved everything I set out to achieve. I won totally, completely, absolutely, undeniably. I won, and winning nearly destroyed me. This is what no one tells you about winning. Everyone talks about how to win, how to compete, how to dominate, how to achieve, how to succeed, how to reach the top, how to become the best, how to win. Everyone talks about winning as if winning is the end, as if reaching the top solves everything, as if achieving your goals brings peace, as if success creates satisfaction, as if winning is the answer. They do not tell you about the dangerous side of winning, the side no one sees, the side no one talks about, the side that emerges after you have won, after you have achieved, after you have reached the top, after you have dominated, after you have succeeded completely. The dangerous side that appears precisely because you won, the side that threatens to destroy everything you built, the side that can consume you, the side that nearly consumed me, the dangerous side of winning. Let me tell you what winning actually does to you, what happens when you achieve everything you wanted, what emerges when you reach the top, what appears when you dominate completely, what threatens when you win absolutely, the dangers no one warns you about, the costs no one mentions, the risks that come with success, the threats that emerge from achievement, the dangerous side of winning. Winning makes you believe you are invincible. When I dominated the steel industry, when I crushed competitors, when I built the largest company in the world, something happened inside me. I started to believe I could not lose, that I could not fail, that I could not make mistakes, that everything I touched would succeed, that every decision I made was right, that every strategy I implemented would work, that I was special, that I was different, that I was better than everyone else, that the rules that applied to others did not apply to me, that I was invincible. This belief is poison, is dangerous, is deadly, because you are not invincible. You can lose, you can fail, you can make mistakes. Everything you touch will not succeed. Every decision you make is not right. Every strategy you implement will not work. You are not special. You are not different. You are not better than everyone else. The rules apply to you. You are not invincible. You are human. You are fallible. You are vulnerable. You can be destroyed just like everyone else. But winning makes you forget this, makes you believe otherwise, makes you think you are invincible, makes you take risks you should not take, makes you ignore warnings you should heed, makes you dismiss advice you should take, makes you believe you cannot fail when you absolutely can fail, makes you act like you are invincible. When you're completely vulnerable, makes you dangerous, dangerous to yourself, dangerous to your business, dangerous to everyone around you, dangerous because you believe you cannot lose when losing is always possible, when losing is probable, when losing is coming. You just cannot see it because winning has made you believe you are invincible. I made decisions during my peak that were reckless, that ignored risk, that dismissed caution, that assumed success, that believed I could not fail. Decisions that would have destroyed me if circumstances had been slightly different, decisions that could have lost everything, decisions that nearly did, not because the decisions were obviously wrong, but because I believed I could not lose, believed I was invincible, believed success was guaranteed, believed the rules did not apply to me, believed I was special, believed I was different, believed winning had made me invincible, when winning had actually made me vulnerable, made me reckless, made me dangerous, made me threatened by my own belief in my invincibility. This is the first danger of winning, believing you cannot lose, believing you are invincible, believing success is permanent, believing victory is guaranteed, believing you are special. This belief emerges from winning, is created by success, is produced by achievement, is consequence of dominating, is result of reaching the top. And this belief is poison, is dangerous, is deadly, will destroy you if you let it, will cost you everything if you believe it, will take everything you built if you act on it. The dangerous belief in invincibility that comes from winning. Winning makes you isolated. When you reach the top, you are alone. The higher you climb, the fewer people can go with you. The more you achieve, the fewer people can relate to you. The more you win, the fewer people understand you. Success isolates, achievement separates, winning creates distance between you and everyone else, between you and people who knew you before, between you and people who cannot understand what you have become, between you and humanity itself. Winning isolates you completely, totally, inevitably. At the top, I had no peers, no equals, no one who understood my position, no one who faced my challenges, no one who knew my pressures, no one who comprehended my decisions. I was alone, completely alone, surrounded by people but isolated, had employees but no colleagues, had partners but no equals, had associates but no friends, had people everywhere but connection nowhere, isolated by success, by achievement, by winning, isolated at the top. This isolation is dangerous because humans need connection, need relationship, need understanding, need someone who knows them, need someone who sees them, need someone who understands them, need connection. But winning destroys connection. Success eliminates relationship. Achievement prevents understanding. The higher you climb, the more isolated you become. The more you win, the more alone you are. The more you achieve, the less connected you feel, until you are at the top, completely successful, totally achieved, absolutely alone, isolated, dangerous isolation. Isolation makes you vulnerable, makes you susceptible, makes you weak in ways you do not recognize, makes you make decisions without counsel, makes you think without challenge, makes you act without feedback, makes you believe without questioning, makes you proceed without checking, makes you vulnerable because you have no one to warn you, no one to challenge you, no one to question you, no one to check you, no one to stop you. You are isolated, alone, unchallenged, unchecked, unwarned, vulnerable. Dangerous vulnerability created by winning, created by success, created by isolation at the top. I made my worst decisions in isolation when I had no one to challenge me, no one to question me, no one to warn me, when isolation made me vulnerable, made me susceptible to my own worst impulses, made me act without counsel, made me decide without challenge, made me proceed without checking. Isolation created vulnerability, vulnerability created mistakes, mistakes created costs, costs that could have been avoided, cost that should have been prevented, cost that isolation made inevitable, the dangerous isolation that comes from winning. Winning makes you addicted to winning. When you win once, you want to win again. When you win twice, you need to win again. When you win repeatedly, you cannot stop winning. Winning becomes addiction, becomes need, becomes compulsion, becomes identity, becomes everything. You are not person who won. You are winner. Winning is not what you did. Winning is who you are. Winning is not achievement. Winning is necessity. Winning is addiction. Dangerous addiction. I became addicted to winning, to achieving, to dominating, to building, to growing, to expanding, to conquering, to succeeding. Addicted, could not stop, could not rest, could not be satisfied, could not say enough, could not accept current achievement, always needed more, always needed next victory, always needed additional conquest, always needed further achievement, always needed to win again, addicted to winning, to success, to achievement, to growth, to more. Addicted. This addiction is dangerous because addiction never stops, never satisfies, never says enough. Addiction always demands more, always requires next fix, always needs additional high, always compels next victory. Addiction controls you, drives you, consumes you, uses you, destroys you, slowly, inevitably, completely. Addiction to winning is no different from addiction to anything else. Is compulsion, is need, is control, is destruction, is dangerous. I could not stop building, could not stop expanding, could not stop competing, could not stop winning, even when I had enough, even when I had more than enough, even when additional winning added nothing valuable, even when continuing made no rational sense. Could not stop because I was addicted to winning, to success, to achievement, to growth, to building, to more. Addicted, and addiction does not listen to reason, does not respond to logic, does not care about enough, just demands more, always more, forever more. Until you die or break, until addiction destroys you, until winning kills you. The dangerous addiction to winning. This addiction nearly worked me to death, made me work when I should have rested, made me build when I should have stopped, made me expand when I should have consolidated, made me compete when I should have cooperated, made me win when winning added nothing, made me continue when continuing made no sense. Addiction drove me, controlled me, consumed me, nearly destroyed me. The dangerous addiction to winning that comes from winning, that emerges from success, that appears after achievement, that threatens to destroy everything you built through compulsive need to build more, to win more, to achieve more, forever, until death or destruction. The dangerous addiction to winning. Winning makes you paranoid. When you have everything, you fear losing everything. When you have achieved everything, you fear losing achievement. When you have won everything, you fear losing victory. When you are at the top, you fear falling. When you have dominated, you fear being dominated. When you have conquered, you fear being conquered. When you have won, you fear losing. Fear becomes constant, becomes consuming, becomes paralyzing, becomes paranoia, dangerous paranoia. At the peak of my success, I was most paranoid, feared competitors, feared market changes, feared technology shifts, feared economic downturns, feared labour unrest, feared everything, saw threats everywhere, saw danger in every change, saw enemies in every competitor, saw risk in every decision, saw loss in every possibility, paranoid, completely, constantly, exhaustingly, dangerously paranoid. This paranoia is consequence of winning. When you have nothing, you fear nothing. When you have everything, you fear everything. When you have achieved nothing, you have nothing to lose. When you have achieved everything, you have everything to lose. Winning creates paranoia, success breeds fear, achievement generates anxiety. The more you win, the more you fear losing. The higher you climb, the more you fear falling. The more you achieve, the more you fear loss. Paranoia, created by winning, produced by success, generated by achievement. Dangerous paranoia. Paranoia makes you defensive, makes you protective, makes you rigid, makes you resistant to change, makes you opposed to innovation, makes you conservative, makes you afraid. Paranoia prevents progress, prevents adaptation, prevents evolution, prevents improvement. Paranoia protects what you have. by preventing you from gaining more, protects current position by preventing better position, protects current achievement by preventing greater achievement. Paranoia designed to protect actually prevents growth, prevents adaptation, prevents survival. Paranoia becomes self-fulfilling prophecy. Fear of losing causes behavior that guarantees losing. Defensive posture creates vulnerability. Protection prevents adaptation. Paranoia destroys what it seeks to protect. Dangerous paranoia created by winning. I became defensive during my peak, protected current methods, resisted changes, opposed innovations that threatened current advantages, fought adaptations that might disrupt current success, became conservative, became rigid, became resistant, because paranoia made me afraid, afraid of losing, afraid of change, afraid of anything that threatened current success. Paranoia made me defensive, made me protective, made me resistant, made me vulnerable, made me dangerous to myself, to my business, to my future. The dangerous paranoia that comes from winning. Winning makes you lose perspective. When you win completely, when you dominate totally, when you succeed absolutely, you lose touch with reality. You forget what normal is. You forget what struggle feels like. You forget what failure means. You forget what ordinary people experience. You forget what the world is actually like. You lose perspective. You lose grounding. You lose connection to reality. You live in bubble, in isolated world, in artificial environment where winning is normal, where success is expected, where achievement is automatic, where reality is distorted, where perspective is lost, dangerous loss of perspective. At my peak, I lost touch with what ordinary people experienced, forgot what poverty felt like, forgot what powerlessness meant, forgot what struggle was like, forgot what normal life involved. I lived in a world where millions of dollars were routine, where massive decisions were daily, where enormous power was normal, where success was expected, where achievement was automatic. I lost perspective, lost grounding, lost connection to reality, lost understanding of what normal people faced, lost empathy for ordinary struggles, lost perspective completely dangerously. This loss of perspective is dangerous, makes you make decisions that hurt people without recognizing the hurt, makes you implement policies that cause suffering without seeing the suffering, makes you exercise power that destroys lives without understanding the destruction, makes you act without empathy, without understanding, without perspective, without connection to the reality of how your decisions affect people who are not like you, who do not have what you have, who do not live how you live, who struggle in ways you have forgotten. Loss of perspective makes you dangerous to others, to yourself, to everyone affected by your decisions. Dangerous loss of perspective that comes from winning. The Homestead strike revealed my loss of perspective. Workers wanted better wages and safer conditions, reasonable requests, human needs. But I'd lost perspective, could not see their struggle, could not understand their need, could not empathize with their position, saw only costs, saw only efficiency, saw only business logic. Lost perspective made me unable to see human reality, made me implement policies that caused suffering, made me make decisions that led to violence, made me exercise power that destroyed lives. Loss of perspective made me dangerous, made me harmful, made me someone who caused suffering without seeing it, without understanding it, without recognizing it. The dangerous loss of perspective that comes from winning. Winning makes you forget who you were. Success changes you. Achievement transforms you. Winning makes you different, makes you someone new, someone other. someone who is not who you used to be. You forget who you were, forget where you came from, forget what you used to value, forget who you used to be. Winning makes you forget, makes you lose connection to original self, makes you become someone different, someone you might not recognize, someone you might not like, someone you might not have wanted to become, someone who winning created, someone who winning required, someone who you are now but not who you were, someone who has forgotten who they were. Dangerous forgetting. I forgot the boy in the factory basement, forgot what poverty felt like, forgot what powerlessness meant, forgot what it was like to be that boy, forgot his values, forgot his dreams, forgot his humanity, became someone different, someone successful, someone powerful, someone rich, someone who had forgotten who he used to be, someone who had lost connection to original self, someone winning created, someone achievement required, someone who was not the boy who started, someone who had forgotten that boy existed. Dangerous forgetting. This forgetting is dangerous because when you forget who you were, you lose the values that made you human, lose the empathy that connected you to others, lose the understanding that grounded you, lose the perspective that guided you, lose the humanity that defined you. You become pure ambition, pure achievement, pure success, pure winning, without humanity, without empathy, without understanding, without perspective, without connection to who you were, without memory of what made you human. Dangerous. Forgetting that makes you dangerous to yourself, to others, to everyone. The dangerous forgetting that comes from winning. I became someone I would not have recognized, someone the factory boy would not have understood, someone driven only by achievement, only by growth, only by winning, only by more, someone who had forgotten the values that boy had, the empathy that boy felt, the humanity that boy possessed. I became successful, became powerful, became rich, became someone who had forgotten who he was, became dangerous because I had lost connection to my humanity, had forgotten what made me human, had become pure achievement machine, pure winning machine, without soul, without empathy, without humanity. The dangerous forgetting that comes from winning. Winning makes you vulnerable to collapse. When you are at the top, there is only one direction to go, down. When you have achieved everything, you can only lose. When you have won completely, you can only be defeated. When you have dominated totally, you can only be dominated. When you are at peak, you are most vulnerable, most exposed, most at risk, most dangerous position at the top, where winning puts you, where success places you, where achievement elevates you, the most dangerous position, the most vulnerable position, the position where collapse is possible, where destruction is likely, where losing is inevitable. At the top, where winning puts you, I was most vulnerable at my peak, most exposed, most at risk, had most to lose, had furthest to fall, had most ways to be destroyed. At the top, where winning put me, where success placed me, where achievement elevated me, the most dangerous position, the position where small mistakes become catastrophes, where minor errors become disasters, where little problems become destruction. At the top, where winning makes you vulnerable, makes you exposed, makes you at risk, makes you dangerous to yourself. Markets change, technologies shift, competitors emerge, economies crash. Everything that made you successful can change. Everything that put you on top can shift. Everything that made you dominant can evolve. And if you are at the top, if you have won completely, if you have achieved everything, these changes threaten everything, threaten your position, threaten your achievement, threaten your success, threaten your winning, threaten to destroy everything you built. Changes that would be manageable from lower position become catastrophic. From top position, changes that would be opportunities become threats. Changes that would be challenges become destruction. At the top, where winning puts you, where you are most vulnerable to collapse. I saw this, saw consolidation coming, saw that independent operators were ending, saw that era of single entrepreneurs was over, saw that trusts and massive corporations were future, saw that my position was vulnerable, that my independence was threatened, that my success was at risk, that changes were coming that could destroy everything I built. Saw it because I was at the top, where winning put me, where I could see far, could see coming changes, could see approaching threats, could see vulnerability, could see that winning had made me vulnerable, had put me in position where everything could be lost, where collapse was possible, where destruction was probable. At the top, the dangerous position winning creates. So I sold before collapse came, before changes destroyed me, before vulnerability became destruction, before winning turned into losing. I sold at peak, at top, at maximum value, at moment of greatest success. I sold because I understood the dangerous side of winning, understood that top is most vulnerable. Possession, understood that complete success creates complete risk, understood that winning puts you in position where you can only lose, understood and sold before the dangerous side of winning destroyed everything, before vulnerability became collapse, before possession became destruction. I sold, escaped, before winning destroyed me. This is the dangerous side of winning that no one talks about, that everyone ignores, that success hides, that achievement obscures, that winning conceals. The danger that emerges precisely because you won, the vulnerability that appears because you achieved, the risk that exists because you succeeded, the threats that come from winning, the dangerous side, the side that can destroy you, the side that nearly destroyed me, the side that destroys most people who reach the top, who win completely, who achieve everything, the dangerous side of winning. Winning makes you believe you are invincible when you are most vulnerable. Winning isolates you when you most need connection. Winning addicts you when you most need to stop. Winning makes you paranoid when you most need to be calm. Winning makes you lose perspective when you most need to see clearly. Winning makes you forget who you were when you most need to remember. Winning puts you at top where you are most vulnerable to collapse. All dangerous, all threatening, all destructive, all consequences of winning, all the dangerous side of winning. I won. I achieved everything. I reached the top. I dominated completely. I became the richest man in the world. I won, and winning nearly destroyed me. Not through failure, not through losing, not through defeat, through winning itself, through the dangers that come from winning, through believing I was invincible, through isolation at the top, through addiction to success, through paranoia about losing, through loss of perspective, through forgetting who I was, through vulnerability of being at peak, all dangerous, all from winning, all nearly destroyed me. The dangerous side of winning. This is what no one tells you, what no one warns you about, what everyone ignores, what success obscures, what achievement hides. The dangerous side of winning, the side that emerges after you win, the side that threatens precisely because you won, the side that can destroy everything you built through winning, the dangerous side that nearly destroyed me. That destroys most people who reach the top, that will threaten you if you win, that you must understand, must recognize, must prepare for, must manage, must survive. The dangerous side of winning: if you pursue success, if you seek achievement, if you want to win, you must know this, must understand this, must recognize this. Winning is dangerous. Success is threatening. Achievement is risky, not because you might fail, but because you might succeed, not because you might lose, but because you might win, not because you might be defeated, but because you might dominate. Success is dangerous, achievement is threatening, winning is risky. Not the pursuit, the achievement, not the climbing, the arriving, not the building, the completing, not trying to win, actually winning. That is dangerous, that is threatening, that is risky, that nearly destroyed me, that destroys most people who achieve it. The dangerous side of winning: I won, I survived, barely. I recognized the dangers, managed the risks, escaped the threats, sold before collapse, remembered who I was, regained perspective, broke the addiction, overcame paranoia, reconnected with people, recognized my vulnerability, survived, barely. But most people do not survive. Most people who reach the top are destroyed by the top. Most people who win completely are defeated by winning. Most people who achieve everything lose everything through achievement. Most people do not survive the dangerous side of winning. You must know this, must understand this, must recognize this. If you pursue success, if you seek achievement, if you want to win, you must understand that winning is dangerous, that success threatens, that achievement risks, that the top is most vulnerable position, that complete victory creates complete vulnerability, that absolute winning creates absolute risk. You must know, must prepare, must recognize, must manage, must survive. The dangerous side of winning, the side that threatens you precisely because you won, the side that emerges from success itself, the side that nearly destroyed me, the side that will threaten you if you win, when you win, after you win, the dangerous side of winning. Win carefully, win consciously, win with awareness, win with humility, win with perspective, win with memory of who you were, win with connection to others, win with understanding of vulnerability, win with recognition of danger, win with preparation for threats, win with management of risks, win carefully, because winning is dangerous, more dangerous than losing, more threatening than failing, more risky than being defeated. Winning is the dangerous part, not losing, winning. The dangerous side of winning, that nearly destroyed me. That destroys most people. That will threaten you if you win. The dangerous side of winning